All right, well, hey there, everyone. This is another video lesson here in the tutorial section, and this will be one of several video lessons that I will put in the category of trade planning, journaling, backtesting, just kind of some miscellaneous topics and items that I think certainly need attention and a discussion about because the bottom line in all this is, are you trading to make money, or are you trading just to trade and see flashing lights and click buttons and find some excitement? And I think probably all of us are here to make money. That's why we're spending time and investing effort and energy and putting the hours, the screen time hours in to do this. It's because we want to make money. And so this section is one where I think it's pretty important that you are able to evaluate what you do right, what you do wrong, and when you go in your experimentation phase, if you will, you need to be able to know if you're going to back test a method or a strategy or a system, that you test it the same exact way that you plan on trading it live. Okay, so I'll just take a couple of moments here, and I've talked in other video lessons about using the OptionView software for those of you interested in maybe accelerating your time spent learning how to test. It's very similar to Forex Tester in that you can step through in incremental times on how you have real time, you have real data that was actually traded in the market, but you're able to step through at various points in time in the past and see how a strategy would perform. I think it's really important in directional currency trading, but I also think it's really important in options trading as well. And I will certainly be sharing my OptionView software in webinar lessons that I will be holding, and then as well as just stepping you through some of the back-tested scenarios just to help accelerate that learning curve somewhat. Because let's face it, if we're only looking at daily candles, we're not monitoring intraday action, it could really take a very long period of time without some simulated software to test what some of these strategies are. So that's going to be a lesson I really want to spend some time talking about, as well as just journaling yourself notes, trade planning, and just kind of walking through. Again, this is just how I view the market. Please, I'm not saying this is the only way. This is just how I do it. And I hope that some of you will see some value and some validity in my methods, and you'll be able to experiment and learn why I'm so excited and passionate about them, because I'll tell you, they work very well. And so that's kind of what you can expect in these lessons in trade planning. So let's just talk about that first and foremost right off the bat. This is a template that I start every trade month out with. Okay, so I will just drag this over here, and there we go. So at the beginning of every trade, I want to know several things. Okay, so there are several different methods of options that I trade, as far as some calendars and diagonals and condors, etc. Butterflies, and that's where you'll have to just kind of determine what is your personality and what you favor one over the other. But I started doing this several years ago, and it really took root and it took hold, and it's very important. And so, for example, I may insert right up here, this is my 30-day calendar trade, or this is a 21-day butterfly trade. Whatever the method is here, I want to give it a name so that I can remember it and I can critique it when the trade is over. All right. I want to know when I put the trade on. I want to know in the beginning. Now, I have never pushed a single button yet to execute a trade, but I want to know in the beginning, What's the maximum? What is the maximum capital? This is not my account size. This is what is the maximum amount of capital that I feel comfortable with deploying to this trade method, whatever it is. And in this particular example, let's just say it's $10,000. If I have a $250,000 account and I'm comfortable sending $10,000 out to one trade method, okay? If I did absolutely nothing to it, then the most I will ever put at risk in the market is a $10,000 trade. So if you'll just imagine or think of this as your, that hard stop, what the most you are willing to put at risk in the market, that's going to be different for everybody. That's 1% of your account, maybe it's 2%, maybe it's 5%. I will say with options trading, this amount can absolutely be a little bit larger than on directional currency trading or futures trading, because you have a lot more ability to navigate and adjust trade positions, okay? So let's just say for just a conversation that this is 5% of your account. You've got a $200,000 account. This is what you're going to send out. I also put in parentheses how much is currently in use at any one point in time. So if I'm willing to put 10,000, but I only end up sending 6 or 7 or 8,000, or I send more than that, I want to know, just for evaluation purposes, why did I send more? Why did I send less? How did that impact the overall trade? I think you get the point. And then I also want to know what are my target profits and what is my maximum loss. So you'll notice on a $10,000 trade, let's say that my account is only $100,000. I have sent $10,000 in margin, but I am willing to only put at risk $1,000. If my trade ever at any point in time absorbs $1,000 of drawdown or volatility swing or price movement, or any time I am down $1,000, okay, 10% of my maximum capital, 1% of my account size, I'm going to close the trade. That's a hard and fast rule. It's non-negotiable. It's non-debatable. It's something that if you try and fudge on that, and if you try and, well, just this once, I'm going to let it drift a little bit more, you'll get burned. You will absolutely get burned. So just don't do it. So in the very beginning, you'll see this is what I'm looking at. I know my trade method. I know when I put it on. I know how much I'm prepared to send out to it. And let's say that at the beginning I start out and the trade only uses half of this. I plan on scaling into it. So I'm only putting $5,000 at use in the beginning, but I'm willing to put more into it. I want to know these things. So then when a trade is over, I can go back in time and see if that was the best use or not. Again, you can construct these trades if you're only wanting to trade once a month, once a week, once a day, once a quarter. The time horizon is important here. So if you'll notice this is say a 30-day Russell 2000 put condor, I know right off the bat that this particular trade may only be launched 12 times a year. So I may be comfortable putting more capital at risk, knowing that my maximum loss that I will permit is a percentage of my overall account. Okay? So right off the bat, there's only 4 little lines here, but there's a lot of data that you get by just jotting this down. It takes you 10 seconds to do. If you don't do it, excuse me, sorry, I got little allergies here going on. If you don't do that, then what's going to happen is you will not be able to kind of see if your adjustments and your methods are successful or not. You know what? One quick second here. Okay, so sorry, just go and blow my stinking horn here. So you'll see in these, these 5 little bitty lines, you have a lot of data here that's important, very important for a trade plan and for journaling a trade during its life. Next, you'll see I want to look at the monthly, the weekly, and the daily chart. First and foremost, before I do anything, I want to see what the market is actually doing, okay? And you'll notice that here, I'm looking at the Russell 2000 and I'm looking at the RVX. The RVX, the volatility level, it is way down in the toilet. It is in this low edge of extreme. Options are very inexpensive. They're very cheap. Lots of hedging is going on right now. And, you know, we're at all-time highs. Okay, I want to know that. I want to be aware of that. And so I'll take a screenshot of that. I want to know what the monthly is looking like. Again, I put these in here as singles. You know what, I just realized you probably can't see the edge of there. I put these in here as singles, okay? So when I see the monthly, if that's SPX, if it's Apple, if it's Priceline, if it's, you know, Home Depot, whatever, if it doesn't matter what the underlying is that you are trading, you can look at that, and I think it's absolutely important to see what that monthly chart is doing, okay? So once you see what the monthly chart is doing, well, this little lever right here will let you take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, you hit save, and then you go ahead and you put it in a folder of wherever you want it. It already gives it a file name. Dates it for the date, tells you it's TOS charts, okay? So it's very simple, it's very easy to do. There's no reason why it shouldn't be done, okay? So you'll see that you're looking at a monthly chart here. Next, we will come to a weekly chart. I'll do the same exact thing. I'll grab another screenshot, I will hit save, and I will save it in the folder. Lastly, of course, you know, we're looking at the daily. And this is all important because while if you are a directional trader or a non-directional trader, you really want to know what the underlying asset is doing when you launch a trade, okay? And so once a trade is actually executed, you'll notice, all right, so now I'll have 3 images put in here. I'll go down, I will take an image of trade inception, what my analyzed graph looks like at inception, as well as what the price action on a daily chart is looking at inception. So whenever the trade is opened, you'll see that if you middle click on your mouse, you have a lot of choices, a lot of drawing tools here. I'll just select an arrow, and if I open it right here at the end of the day, there comes an arrow. An arrow gets put right on the chart. So I will know when the trade was opened, and you can put notes or, you know, just something to identify when the trade was put on, so that when you go back, you know, because let's face it, here it is, it's March 24th right now when I'm recording this, 2015. I have no idea what's going to progress over the next few days or few weeks, and if we all of a sudden have a 5% correction, and 2 or 3 weeks from now we find ourselves back down here at about, you know, 1200 or 1220 or lower, okay, it's going to be very easy for me to look back and say, oh yeah, of course, anybody could see that, you know, that was the top and the turning point, and you know, why did you do this, you know, at that point in time? But in real time, you know, you look left. I saw a great a great thread in the forums. You look left and you think right, and I thought that was really, it's very simply stated and it's very powerful. You look left, you find your support and your resistance levels, and you think right. And so when you put that little arrow on there, you're going to be able to know, all right, this was when the trade started, and let's just navigate it going forward. So you'll see that when orders are filled, they will populate here. You will be able to, again, save right here, take a screenshot. You'll be able to save any executed orders. Your Analyze tab, which you should be very proficient at by now, you will be able to look at if this is an order and this is a trade that was filled today. Well, then I will be able to say, okay, if I say that I sold this, and let's just say that I sold this, and this is my trade, and these are my fill prices, well, there it is. There's a screenshot, and I can see what does my trade look like on the day of inception. and then I can look at price action as well. So those three elements are going to be put on a trade plan at the very beginning. Again, this is just how I do it. You have to find what works for you so that as a trade develops and builds, taking these screenshots and making yourself notes and journaling your thoughts in real time will it will make the absolute difference, in my opinion, of you making this long term consistently or not. Because in the heat of battle, when the emotions are high, when money is swinging up and down, you're not going to be thinking clearly. Once the trade is over, once it's finished, then you can go back and you can look at, maybe it's only 2 or 3 days, maybe it's 2 or 3 weeks or months, and you can see, you can watch that progression. Okay, so at the end of every single day, after the trade is open, then I will just take an analyze snapshot and a price action snapshot. So some of these trade plans may become 20, 30, or 40 pages long, but I'm telling you, it's worth every second you spend doing it, as well as any adjustments you may or may not make. At the very end, okay, when the trade is over, I'll take another screenshot of the trade that was closed, what the price action did at closure, and then the actual trade recap. So, you know, you'll just edit either with Snagit or Paint or some, you know, software program, some pertinent data that when it opened, when it closed, how long you were in the market, what was your maximum margin, what was your net profit or loss, and what was your net return on investment. This is not return on account. This is return on investment. It's a very, don't let people confuse you, because you'll see a lot of marketing and advertisement that, well, okay, I just made 40%, okay, on what? If you have $100,000 and you made 40% on a $200 trade, well, okay, great. You may be misrepresenting an efficient use of your capital. So just understand that the details are really what's important, and you'll get these details by making a trade plan. Okay, so this is my format. This is my way of doing it. It works for me, and I certainly don't want to insinuate or imply that this is how you have to do it, but you have to find something that's comfortable for you, that's part of your routine, whether that's a daily routine or an hourly routine or a weekly routine, something that becomes just part of how, you know, you manage trades. So I think that'll be it for this one. I'll wrap it up. I will have a few more videos stepping through some back testing, and then you know, hopefully this will spark up some good conversations about how you can use these to start making successful trades. All right, so thanks much, and we'll have some more coming in just a few minutes. Bye-bye.